Well, hello, wonderful friends. Teresa Lusk here with the Teresa Lusk Show, and I have my next guest, Michael Tritthart. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, for those of you who are watching and are going to watch today, I'm really excited about today's topic because it's just the right time to start getting empowered to rev up your business, maybe set some goals, talk about some things that, really maybe have been challenges for you. Maybe you need somebody to just coach you through some new behaviors, some new goals, some new mindsets. And that's exactly what Michael is going to do with us today. Michael is a transformative figure in business, education, and technology. And he provides unique and effective solutions for growth. So I'm excited for those of you who are going to tune in. I know that this is a season of preparation. So we're going to dive in. Michael, thank you so much for coming on today on the Teresa Lusk Show to talk about how people can better their business. Could you just tell us just briefly a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So again, thanks for letting me come in and share. But I've been training business owners since 2001, primarily real estate agents all across North America. And I've got two different companies, a training company and a website design company. But the classes that I typically teach and share with business owners, they're hands-on workshops. We want them to come in, learn right there in the class, but more importantly, apply the techniques right there in the class. And we see tons and tons of positive results from those all over Texas, all over North America. And one of those classes that I teach is the blueprint to business building. And that's kind of our main topic today is going in and understanding, number one, what is a 135? And then what are the potential pitfalls of putting one together? And then what are the successes of putting together a 135?
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the 135 in just a second, but just for fun and just so that the audience knows what it is that you're bringing to the table, I was watching one of your videos and I actually took a little clip of it because I thought it was quite entertaining. So I wanted people to see just your passion behind what you do. So let's watch this.
Everyone, this is Michael Tritthart, michaeltritthart.com. Let's put a little boom into your website. Sign up for one of our online success reviews, and we will show you how to light your website up and take it to the first page of Google. Sign up now.
Okay. How about that?
I'm going to give some backstory on that. So my website designer lived in California his whole life, and then he moved to Nevada. And this was like 3 years ago, and we're talking. He goes, the first thing I bought was my condo, and I said, yeah, I know. He goes, what the second thing I bought was? I said, I have no idea. He goes, a flamethrower, and I'm like, awesome. And I said, why? He goes, because I can. He grew up in California his whole life being told what he can't do, and you can't get this, and you can't get that. And so he was like, I'm going to have a little freedom. And I was out there for a business conference, and he was like, hey, let's put together a fun promo video and just go out in the desert and light stuff on fire and blow things up. And I'm like, I'm in, right? And so we're using a flamethrower on a 125-degree day in the desert. Wow. And after about 2 hours, we're like, we're out of water. I'm getting a little dizzy. It's extremely hot. This is going to be our last take.
Well, listen, I think it was a great way to get people's attention, no doubt. So, one of the things that you said was that in California, where people are constantly told what to do, and I was reading on some of the things that you had here, and you were going to discuss how Google and the loss of the DOJ case affects this, and so I want to talk about that as well. But let's first of all let me ask you this. Why is it so important to use Google for business? Kind of take us there real quick.
Yeah, no problem. So, I kind of joke in my classes, joke but not joke, that Google owns the world and we just happen to live in it. But we talk about it for the right and for the wrong reasons. But if I'm a business owner and I want to get visibility to my business and get visibility to my business for free, there's a lot of really powerful things that Google can do. One of the most popular classes that I train on is the Google business profile page. Going in, getting that set up properly, feeding it with reviews, feeding it with photos. The record for that, I had somebody It was a window and door replacement company in New York. Sales manager took the job February 1st, 2020, right? And what's right around the corner? COVID. And by March 15th, he's pretty much on a coaching call with me, curled up in the fetal position, kind of freaking out. Like my whole world's come crashing down. And I told him, I said, you got to go all in on Google. And they did. And by the end of that year, they eclipsed their projected goal for 2020, blew it away by like 2 million. And he said 500,000 of that minimum came in from the Google business profile page. Wow. He's like, we had people lined up outside of our showroom doing the whole COVID nonsense of New York, masked up, 6 feet apart, temperature checks, all that craziness. And we'd say, number one, hey, thanks for being here. But number two, how'd you find us? And they would all go, I don't know. Google told me to be here. The internet told me to be here. Nobody really knows what's powering up the searches, but it really is Google business profile. And then again, I had another agent, real estate agent. She closed 600 transactions. Very experienced, successful agent, and never gotten a lead from Google at all. We worked with her. We took her through one of our training sessions. My business partner is also the former IT director of Petco, so he knows search engine optimization inside and out. 10 days later, she gets her first Google lead, and she gets a $3.25 million listing. And she's like, I am all in on Google. This is crazy. So there is tremendous power, but okay. I think we heard it in Spider-Man. With tremendous power comes responsibility, right? And Google has a responsibility to do the right thing. Well, they have not been doing the right thing, and the DOJ went after them. And in August of this year, the DOJ won a monopoly case against Google. And so right now, it's still being bantered back and forth. There is no decision of how Google is going to be broken up as of yet. But just as I think it was like about a month ago, the DOJ came back and said, we are recommending that Google sell off Chrome and potentially Android. And so that's going to cause a major, major seismic shift in big tech. And I think it's, I'll be the first one to cast doubts on current DOJ rulings and findings. But I will also be the first one to say, hey, I think they got this one right. I think big tech needs to come to heel a little bit. I've been training on it for many, many years, and I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. Yeah. And the fact that Google has so much control over what we see online, I think that needs to be controlled.
So give me an example, because I think this is very beneficial for businesses. I can tell you myself, even from being a social media user, I've been doing it for years, even using YouTube. I mean, I have videos that I've produced professionally and here in our studio. And I mean, they are, shadow banned really is what's going on. And I can't get them. I can change the name. I can do all sorts of things, and I still can't get them out of there so that people can view them. Give me an example of how exactly this might affect somebody, especially since this is a conservative platform. Yeah. We're very politically inclined here. How did that affect? Give me a real life scenario, just a super brief one, so that we can get to the plan for the 1 through 5.
Sure. I'll give you 2 of them. So I think it was back in 2010. There was a video on YouTube of YouTube executives talking about how they could sway political elections up to 10% one way or the other.
Wow.
But never in the United States. Like, they had that little caveat on there. You can no longer find that video on YouTube. I mean, it's gone, right? But it was there. And part of this court case that the DOJ had against Google, they basically said they were doing like a pay-to-play situation with Apple and all these other companies, to where they had almost 96% of the access points to the internet. So when you buy a new laptop, you buy a new phone, it's Chrome, it's Google, it's already preloaded, and they were paying these companies millions to preload all that information. So if I want to go out to the internet, 96% of the access points are being controlled by Google. Another study has shown that if the internet was, if the internet is 100%, Google is only giving us 3% of the power of the internet. And so basically they're saying we control all the access points, and we're going to keep you in a pin, and we're only going to show 3% of the power of the internet to us. And so there is a lot of businesses, yours included, that are being shadow banned off of YouTube, that being shadow banned off of Google. It's very hard to go out and find those businesses on these platforms. You have to use alternative browsers to go out and find a lot of these websites. And depending on the topic, if it's political, if it's health or medicine or anything else, there's a lot of hot topics out there that, of course, are being shadow banned. So that's been a big problem. And again, that's the downside of Google. And I try to couch that in all my training sessions to say, hey, make sure you understand, both sides of the coin. There's some bad stuff, but there absolutely is some good stuff, right? And you have to be aware of how it's going to operate and how it's going to work. And it's not just Google that's doing that. I mean, we could throw all the social media platforms in there. Even X is still having some issues with shadow banning, even though Elon's in charge of it. There's still certain workers that are causing issues on those platforms. So it's just a comprehension that you have to understand these different platforms and what's going on.
Well, that's really unfortunate, but I'm glad that I'm so sorry. We're having some technical difficulties. That's really unfortunate.
Listening right now and messing with you. No, I'm joking.
No, I'm very much listening because this is such a real issue. Michael, is there anything that a business can actually do to protect themselves from that as they're trying to grow their business, even as they hire a professional like yourself?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have to know the platforms that you're working with, right? And you have to know, unfortunately, that there are certain boundaries that you just can't cross at this point with some of these platforms. Now, with the new administration coming in, I think we're going to see some changes. I think we're going to see some improvements on this. But there's alternative platforms that are out there. There's an alternative right now to Google that's up and coming. That's Rumble, and Rumble's doing a pretty good job of making a sizable dent in the traffic and activity versus YouTube. And so you have to take advantage of some of these alternative platforms that are out there. And I always tell everybody, don't run to those. Still do your business on these quote unquote normal platforms, because we don't need to be siloed into one platform or the other. We have to be able to hopefully get our message out business wise, professional wise, to a lot of different platforms. But it's their platform, and unfortunately we have to kind of play by the rules at a certain point until the DOJ or somebody else steps in and says, hey, we're changing the game.
Well, this is why somebody like yourself is so valuable, because you can help a professional, whether it be any kind of, whether it's a ministry or a business or somebody running for a campaign, et cetera. Like you are the reason why, some of us who struggle with certain business issues could use your services. And, I'll be honest with you, as a business owner myself, I think a lot of the issues that business owners have is, I would say, small budget. So sometimes business owners think about investing in a professional like yourself, these are real fears. What do you have to say to that, to people that really get concerned about, well, maybe I can't afford them. Is it worth the investment?
Right,
How can a business owner really,
Yeah. So when you get into advertising, like Google ads and the such, you can spend a lot of money really quickly. And my business, we actually outsource the advertising to a company that is here local in North Texas, that their number one client is Toyota. We focus on all of the things that you can do for free to build your business. And I kind of, again, joke in my classes, I like the free stuff and I like the easy stuff because I'm cheap and I'm lazy. Like, let's do those first, right? And and a lot of the things that we do are organic. And the thing that makes us different, quite honestly, is the expertise that not only I have, but also my business partner, Jeff Kale, former IT director at Petco. We've got a lot of our clients that are on the first page of Google, first page, first spot. And we are able to do that organically without paying anything. Prime example, in November, we rolled out a brand new website for a farmer's insurance agent that we built the site for in San Antonio. Within 5 hours, if you go out and Google search San Antonio farmer's agent, he was already on the first page. That's a
Wow.
record for us. First page within 5 hours.
Wow.
I Google searched it earlier this week. San Antonio farmer's agent, he's number 2, and he's there organically. So he's loving life. And
Wow.
we have a whole list of clients that are just like that.
That's wonderful.
We were able to get there. And so you can do it, and you can do it pretty cost effectively.
Okay. Very nice. So there you have it. For those of you who are watching and will watch, there are ways to get this done well, effectively. It's worth the investment. So, if you're looking for, really setting the tone for your business for 2025, reach out to Michael Tritthart. Is that michaeltritthart.com? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you can get, a consult and figure out what does this look like. But in solidifying our plans for 2025, Michael, you have something called the 135. And so I want you to talk to our viewers about what does that mean? Even myself, I'm evaluating what's coming up for 2025, et cetera. So let's start with the 1. Can you explain real briefly what that is? And then let's break into the 135 plan.
Sure. So I actually did a 135 before the 135 was a thing, right? And in my experience as a business owner, one of the things that I've done throughout the years is I've gotten different certifications, and I'm associated Keller Williams Realty. I was a Keller Williams Realty Master Faculty Instructor for about 9 years, and during that time, I also got my One Thing certification. There's a book written called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And inside the book, which was released in 2012, they talk about setting up your annual plans, and they call it the GPS, goal, priorities, and strategies. And then there's also the 135 acronym that goes with it. And the 1 is your annual plan, or the 1 goal that you want to achieve, your 3 priority steps, and then your 5 action steps underneath each one of those 3. And so as a business owner, it's very difficult for us to just kind of wing it, right? And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that wing it. And they're like, I'm just going to try to exist from week to week, month to month, hopefully year to year, and figure out what's going to go on. But if I actually start to apply the 135, not only to my business, you can then also start to apply it to your health. You can start to apply it to your faith, to your family life. You can teach it, and I've done this. You can teach it to your kids. And you can also have your fellow employees at your business start to create their own 135 for their position in your business. And basically what you want to do on the 135 is, number 1, you want to identify, if we're going to talk an annual goal, you want to identify that annual goal, and you want it to be big, and you want it to be a stretch goal. So don't go in and say, well, we want to grow business by 6% this year, because look at inflation. You're like, you're way behind if you're doing that. We want this to be a goal that makes you stretch so much it makes you cry a little bit. This is freaking me out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And another little tip on that is you don't want the word "and" in your annual goal, because that's 2 goals, and that's you trying to multitask, and you're going to multi-fail. So you want to have 1 goal, whatever that 1 goal is. And then from that, and we do this in the workshop, and I'm kind of giving you the abbreviated version of it, but we go in and we do what we call a brain dump, where we say, here's everything that we could do, and we have them all kind of work it out, write it out, and I explain thoroughly what we're talking about. And then we go into everything that we should do. And so we narrow that list down to the 3 things that we should do to achieve our goal. Now, if I'm a business owner, most of us are going to create a goal to increase the business, right? We're going to increase the volume to 15%, 20%, whatever you decide. Invariably, when people go for a business goal, they find out that the 3 things that usually pop up, it's lead generation in some form or fashion, right? It's going to be, we got to bring more people on board to the business, because if I'm going to increase my business by 20%, I can't increase the minutes and the hours and the days that I have in my life. I'm going to have to bring people on board. So I'm going to have to hire somebody. And then the third thing is there needs to be some type of accountability, coaching program, mentorship, something in my life to kind of hold me to these goals. And so they self-discover that. But again, the 135 can be anything. Like we've had people do it for their health. I had one lady, she said, my family is like 8th-generation Texans, and my mom bought the family homestead back like 3 years ago, was about 80% completed on it, passed away, and I want to finish it, but still at the same time be able to run my business. And so in the workshop, we actually as a group did her 135 together, showing her what she needs to do to finish out her homestead. And you get into the 5 aspects, which are the action steps. And if we're doing an annual plan, this is the quicksand. This is the part where everybody gets hung up. Because if we say, hey, Teresa, I want you to set up your annual plan. Here's your 3 priorities. And you're like, okay, I got it. Okay, now for you to achieve that first priority, what are the 5 steps and who's going to do it? And when is it all going to happen? Human instinct, we all go, oh, well, I'll do all of those 5 steps and I'll do those next week or next month. And there's no way that's going to happen. So you have to go in and you have to understand who's in your world, right? Who are you going to use? Maybe it's allied resources, allied companies. They're going to help you with your marketing. Maybe it's going to be somebody that you eventually bring on board to your business to help you with that. And if it's an annual plan, some of these things are going to happen. Yeah, maybe next week, maybe next month, but some of them are going to happen second quarter, third quarter. And so you're going to have to kind of line that out with the 5 action step as who's going to do it and when's that going to occur. But just don't fall into the trap of saying me and next week, because again, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we get stuck as solopreneurs. We don't want to grow. Right. We want to grow, but we don't grow. Right?
Yeah.
We don't want to lose control. Like I'll do it all, and it's got to run through me, and it just doesn't work that way.
Okay. So I want to go back to something that you said, and then you can bring us back to where we're at. One of the things that you said that's so piercing, actually, because I know this for a fact from my own and just working with other people, you said you don't want to wing it. From the very beginning, you said you don't want to wing it. And can I speak to those winging entrepreneurs? Can we please talk to them? This is such a powerful statement, because I think that there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are struggling. They really are entrepreneurs. Would you agree with me, Michael, if I say there are people out there who will watch this and are watching? You're actually an entrepreneur. It's on the inside of you already. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Most people aren't going to take entrepreneurial risks because it is a risk. It's a constant risk. Right. The thing is that we're lacking some of the education, kind of like what you're filling us in with. So the very first thing is don't wing it. So you do that by watching something like this, equipping yourself, maybe investing in a coach who can teach you how to do all these steps. So would you say that you find a lot of entrepreneurs actually try to wing it?
Absolutely. I mean, I train a lot within the real estate world, and I will be honest that it varies from broker to broker. And there's a lot of brokers out there that provide excellent training. And then there's others that are kind of like, hey, good luck. Here's your opportunity. It's up to you type of situation. Now, I know we're talking Google, we're talking the 135. Let's throw another little variable in here that has popped up in the last 2 years, and that's ChatGPT. In the rise of AI, which I train on as well. And I've actually spoken on Fox News Radio about the dangers of AI from a conservative point of view, because when you get into the opinion side of it, that's when we get into the murky waters. But if you go in and you use ChatGPT, Perplexity, any of these other AI systems out there, they can help you to develop the 135. I tell everybody, envision the whiteboard that we all have in our office, where we all sit down and say, okay, we're going to create our 135. We're going to create our plan. So what are we going to do? And you're like, I don't know. Right. And it's like, we just start throwing stuff up there. And that's that winging it part that we're talking about. If you go in and you use ChatGPT, Perplexity, tell them massive amounts of copious details and information about your business, and then say, develop a 135 draft for me, it will do that in about 15 seconds. Now, don't take it as the gospel, but take it as that initial draft. And that is that spark, that mental spark where we can go, oh yeah, that's right. We can do this. We can do that. We can tweak this part. I can bring in Teresa to help me with this one. Right. I mean, that's that spark, that genesis that AI has become very, very good at. And again, I kind of joke in my classes, if you got high school kids or college kids or, elementary, middle school, they can't use AI because it's cheating. But when we use it in the business world, it's called efficiency.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's very true. Okay, that's good. All right, so take us back to the 3. We were at the 3. So what else do you want to fill us in on that one?
Yeah. So on the 3, I mean, it's going to be those primary big blocks. And again, for most of us in the business world, it's lead generation, it's growth. So we got to bring on somebody, or we got to ally with other companies. Maybe I don't hire them to my team, but I'm going to align myself with other companies that can help me to do this. Maybe it's affiliate type of opportunities. There's a lot of different avenues that will go. And then the third block typically is going to be coaching, mentorship, whatever the case may be. And then you got to do 5 for each one of those 3. What are those 5 actionable items? And that's the part that, again, I think a lot of people get hung up because they don't envision their crew, right? They think it's the scope of my business is the only people that are actually on my team with me in my business. And they don't think about all of the affiliates that are around them. Maybe you're part of a networking group, right? And there's some people in the networking group that can handle some of the things that needs to be done. Maybe you're part of a conservative group and you want to have like-minded individuals that can help you to build and grow your business. And that's a lot of times where we step in from a website point of view, from an SEO point of view. We're not asking you to be the SEO guru for your business. We'll do that part. And that's where those action steps come in. And that's a lot of times where we're able to take our clients and move them to the next level by coming into one of those 5 actionable steps.
Okay. What do you feel out of these 3 steps? What's the most challenging one, do you think, for most entrepreneurs?
I think easily the most challengeable one is growth, because as an entrepreneur, again, many of us are what we call solopreneurs. Like, we're going to go in and say, well, I'm going to do it myself. Not only am I going to wing it, I'm going to do it myself because I don't trust anybody. How am I going to get all this knowledge out of my brain into your brain? I don't have time to slow down, so I'm just not going to hire anybody. And just the whole process kind of freaks out everyone. Like, oh, I don't have time to interview. I don't have time to do this. Well, you're hiring these people to do the 80% of the work that you don't want to do. And one of my good friends is in the accounting world, and he ran a large team. And when he would hire people, he's like, look, I'm hiring you to make my life easier, not to put more work on my plate. Like, if you're going to come in and bring issues and drama to the team, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to make my life easier, right? That's right. Why we're doing this. And so one of the things that we do on my team, and we try to make this a little bit easier in terms of the hiring process, is we're going to go in, and when I hire somebody, I don't physically train them. What we do, and I've had my virtual assistants do this, I've done this, we create videos. And we create videos of, here's the process. Like,
that's
hey,
good.
Here's the one thing that you have to do when I teach real estate agents in Texas, and we submit the forms to the state of Texas for them to get their CE credit, their continuing ed credit. Here's the process on how to do that. So it's like a 4-minute long video that I created, and they see my screen, they hear me. I have it saved on YouTube. I have it saved in other locations. Now, the fact that it's on YouTube, it's not public. It's a private, and it's a link that I share to them. But I don't give them an employee handbook. I give them an employee video catalog. And so I just hired a new PA 2 months ago, and her learning curve was down to less than a week. She watched all the videos, and by Friday, she's like, I'm good to go. And if I'm not, I'll watch the videos, and then if there's any other questions, I'll just ask you. Every once in a while, I'll get a couple questions. That's it.
I really love that idea because I actually produce training videos for media for certain companies. Like if they want to produce videos for their website, etc. But most people aren't video savvy. They don't like being on media. This is my thing. I love doing this. So I'll produce a training video on it. I love that because I just think that's the new way to learn. I don't think we're paper pencil type people anymore
Great.
like we used to be. There needs to be some visuals, some etc. But I love what you're saying because it actually is triggering. And I think most of us know it, but it takes a conversation like this to kind of pull on it. And I think it's learning how to be efficient. That's one of the things that I'm really even running through my own head as we're talking is, okay, where are you not as efficient where you could be efficient? And I love this idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 72% of our people in the world would rather watch a video than read the instructor manuals or read the book.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but I'm the same way. Like we've all become home improvement experts, car experts, vacuum cleaner expert because of a YouTube video, right?
Listen, Michael, listen, I wing it when it comes to the instructions. Let's just say that. And it's when I get stuck that I go back to it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But I was just going to say that, that plus, if you think about it, the three most popular apps in the world, TikTok, until they get banned, right? TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. Why are they the most popular? Well, it's photos and videos. And for right or for wrong, they're the top three. It actually has kind of made us dumb. Like we sit around and look at pretty photos and videos all day long. We're like, yay! We're like little
Yes,
little babies when it comes to that type of entertainment. But it's also how a lot of us learn. We're very visual, right? And we want to see the steps versus read the steps.
Yeah,
And
that's wonderful.
that's a big one.
No, it really is. Actually, you're selling my business for me because this is part of what I do. I coach you to love yourself on media and how to just like yourself when you're talking, when you're introducing yourself to somebody and just feel comfortable. So I love it. What else do you want to add to this? The 135. I want to make sure that we're not taking away from the value of this.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing on the 135 is keep in mind that you can do a 135 for your business, and then you can also do one at the same time for your health, for your family life, for your religious beliefs. Like, hey, I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to read the Bible from cover to cover in 1 year, and here's the process. I've had people do a 135 for running a marathon. They've never run a marathon before in their life. I mean, once you create your first one, then you start seeing your whole life as a 135, right? You just start envisioning it in your mind. And a big aha for a lot of people that own their own business, that have employees, is the first time you do this, you're going to do it for yourself in your business, and you're going to have success. And then you're going to say, "Oh, okay, I want some more." So the next year, what are we going to do that's different? And I talk to a lot of business owners, and I say, you need to make sure that all your employees are doing the 135, and they always like, "Oh, that's it, right?"
That's good,
because it's not just me driving the business. If everybody is starting to 135 their position in the business, that's just going to take us next level.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that's very important. I think that's great. I mean, these are things that you're talking to the minds of entrepreneurs that I think just need a little help me up, a little strength in me. Like, what are my next steps? I think this personally. I sure do. Sometimes you just get stuck and you're just like, what step do I take next? And you lose that desire, the momentum. It's hard to get going with the momentum.
Yes.
Once you get going, though, it comes naturally. Would you say that's correct?
I would. And entrepreneurs, typically they're passionate, right? So they believe in their product, they believe in their service, and they're going to shoot for the moon, and they're going to be able to get on camera and talk about it. They're going to be able to share that vision and that passion to everyone else. A lot of entrepreneurs, the problem they run into is the actual nuts and bolts creation of the business, how to go to that next level. And that's where that 135 comes into play. That's where we come into play when we talk about helping you from a website design point of view, an SEO point of view, helping you generate organic leads. We're not, as an entrepreneur, we're not asking you to be a web designer and a videographer and an actor and a screenwriter and a script writer. But a lot of people in their minds start thinking, oh my gosh, in today's world, that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
I got to do all this myself. No, lean into your allied resources and that'll help you build your foundation and keep you passionate for your business.
Yeah, that's good. And you offer those different options, right? And you can find those on your website, michaeltritthart.com. But those are those different options that you offer? I mean, are they like, you can purchase this or purchase that or purchase the whole package?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We have it all packaged together, but then we also have the a la carte options. Some of you go, you know what? I've already got a great website. It's up and running. It's generating me leads. Well, we can go in and help you specifically with your Google Business Profile, with your social media. We can do some coaching. And if you go, I have nothing, but I need it all, then that's the all-in package that we have as well too. And so what we want everyone to do is go out to michaeltritthart.com, go to services, and you'll see a button on there that says online success review. And that's that initial consultation that we do. It's pretty much a coaching session. We're going to look at your online presence that is there currently, and we're going to tell you what is good and what is not good from a consumer point of view. And we're going to create what we call the online blueprint. Just like you want to put a desk together, you want to put a house together, you got to have a blueprint. Well, if you want to put your online vision together, you got to have a blueprint for that. We'll create that. And then from that point, clients can go and build their vision with their own blueprint, can have their 12-year-old IT genius at the house do it, or we can do it for them. And we have people in all three of those camps that will do that. But most of them usually have us doing it, and that's fine. But if you've got somebody else that can do it, that's fine as well too. We just want you to do it.
There you go. There you go. Well, Michael, this has been very helpful. I believe that there are some people who are, going to capture this message and go, okay, I've got to get myself serious. I've invested in different in coaching before. That's what I do, but I offer, I have invested in coaching myself. Maybe not necessarily business coaching, although
Right.
I have sat with mentors, et cetera. But coaching itself, I'm such a proponent of coaching because I really believe that it helps you get your mind clear. And, entrepreneurs have 20 things on their mind and they're trying all 20 at the same time. And sometimes you've got to get all of that out of the way, pretty much how you've been, talking about the one goal. We've got to talk
Yeah.
about that one thing. So I think this has been absolutely helpful. Is there any last things you want to say as we close up our interview here?
Well, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come in and share with your audience. And I hope that they find it to be beneficial and give them that spark going into the new year to take their business to the next level. And if there's anything that we can do to help you with that, all you got to do is just reach us at michaeltritthart.com, and we're happy to have that discussion and have that opportunity to help you.
There you go. Well, my friends, it's not too early. It's almost getting close to where, you really are pushing it. So don't forget to go to michaeltritthart.com, and that way you can learn a little bit more about what they do. It's worth an investment of just saying, is this worth for my business? And, this isn't a business proposal from me. I just know as a business person that you really need to get your ducks in a row and sometimes some clarity. So, and, for what it's worth, if this has helped you, go back and listen to it again and see, okay, what are those steps that Michael was talking about that I can apply to my own business and my own future? Because we really want to see you succeed. Entrepreneurs are, such a blessing here in America. I think that we need more of people who can start their own business. There's people who are watching this and will watch that may say, you know what, I've been wanting to start a business. That's even better, because before you take off investing all the money that entrepreneurs invest, you can actually start off with a good, solid blueprint. So, Michael, thank you for all the wonderful wisdom and advice that you had for us today.
All right.
My friends, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to share this. Don't forget to comment, ask questions. If you have a question for Michael, he's going to be happy to respond via social media. You can go connect with him on social media as well. Michael, thank you so very much. This has been informative. This has been great. I think so many people are going to have definitely some great things to think about. So I appreciate you coming on the Teresa Lusk Show.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right. You take care. All right, my friends. We'll see you again. God bless.